Davey,
Yay!
hey, the bod, and myself, Elaine, who's the mum. On today's episode, we have the one, the only, Darren Shepherd Loxton. He's
The
going to talk to
legend.
us about bodybuilding and all about getting in shape and how you gain points and garner attention from the judges when you're in a competition. So, without further ado, let's pass him over to you.
Well, firstly, thanks for having me on. Thanks for the invite.
Thank you.
Always good to just have these chats, and just anyone that's interested, it's always good to pass on information. And anyone that knows me knows that I'm very free with information. So, like, any questions, anything that anyone wants to know, really, there are no secrets in this industry. There's application, there's information, and how you apply it. And the best people are always the ones that apply it better, not the ones that have got more information. So yeah, I'm always happy to do these things and just share my experience.
Fabulous. Well, here's an opportunity for our viewers and listeners to gain some new information and maybe new tweaks and tricks to apply them appropriately and properly. So before we start into all of the details for the people who want to get involved, Darren, talk to us about how you got started in this. Was this something you were always interested in, or did some magical event happen in the gym one day and you're like, well, fancy a bit of that?
Well, in terms of how I got into bodybuilding, it was kind of the latter. I've always been sporty. My dad was a boxer. I boxed when I was 6.
Yeah.
I started karate when I was 10. I was a black belt by the time I was 13. Second down black belt at 17. Represented Great Britain, World Championships, British champions, all those kind of things. So I taught karate for 8 years. So that's kind of where my background was. And of course, sport and rugby. I'm Welsh, so rugby was pretty much the only sport I ever did other than karate. And then university happened. I moved away. Karate went on the back burner. I went to the gym. I actually didn't do any weights as a youngster. Not until I was 22, went to the gym just to kind of fill some time. And then from there, I went into marketing. But I was into marketing fitness. So I was working in health clubs, helping clubs set up membership programs, helping them set up retention, how to look after members. And then I ended up buying my own gym.
Whoa. That's
I had a gym for 15 years.
With the karate?
Sorry?
With the karate? Or did you always have your own?
No, the karate stopped when I was 22.
Right.
I then dabbled a little bit in it, but it's all consuming. With anything, I think I've got that kind of personality. If I do anything, I do it all in.
100% or nothing.
It's either that's how you are, right? I think some people can dabble and do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. When I was doing the karate, it was everything. So going to university kind of put that on the back burner. In all honesty, the reason I stopped karate because I couldn't find a club that I felt at home with. We had very high standards. So my Shian, my sensei, who is now Shian, the standard at our club was impeccable. It was like discipline was first and foremost. Yes, it has to be fun. You want to enjoy yourself, but it's discipline. And I went, and then of course I taught at that club as well. And then when I went away, I just couldn't find a club that lived up to the standards that I'd been so used to. So I drifted away.
You'd set yourself high standards.
It was just, when you go into it's like when you go into a gym, right? And the gym is everything you want. And then you go to a leisure center and it's just like, I can't get it done here.
Yeah.
Because I just don't feel it. It was that kind of environment where I'd go to a karate club and either the sensei, no disrespect, wasn't very good, or the class was just unorganized and the discipline was terrible. And I mean that little things like you don't talk when you're in a karate club, okay? It's discipline, right? And I mean, like you bow at the door, you walk in, you're in the dojo. It's like sensei is the person that speaks, and you speak when you're spoken to. They were chatting in lines and having conversations, and I'm like, this isn't right. And I just didn't enjoy it. So I stopped karate and went to the gym instead.
But like
And
the
then,
gyms these days, you go in, you see them all sitting on their phones or chatting. When like me and you want to go in and train, but like the
well,
karate, I suppose.
well, that's why I have my own gym. So I,
I'd love to have
so
my
the
own
gym
gym.
the gym I opened, the gym I had for 15 years was a gym that me and my business partner bought.
Yeah.
And we kind of molded it as to what we wanted. But moving away from the gym, when I built this place, we closed the gym down because we first and foremost we had landlord issues,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to work from home with more coaching. I wanted to get into the coaching more,
Yeah.
and I couldn't do that being at the front desk every day at a gym
I was taking
because
your time away.
I just never got any work done.
Yeah.
No,
You
admin.
you spend your whole day chatting. And of course, that's part and parcel of the job, right? People are paying membership to come in and they want to have a chat. And I'm spotting people and I'm helping people and I'm, doing some coaching, but not an awful lot. And I'd get home from work, finish work at 10. I'd get home at, 10:30. I'd be up till 1 o'clock trying to do my coaching stuff. And then I'd be back in the gym at 7 a.m. So it was like, and I've got two children now. I had one child at the time.
Yeah.
And I said to my wife, I think I'm going to close the gym.
That's
And
scary.
it was. I was confident that I could make it work, and she was confident that I could make it work. And I'm like, we were in the process of buying a new house, so it was like the script just changes a little bit. When we buy our new house, we need to buy a house that I've got enough room to build my own gym at home.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. So I don't go to commercial gyms. I go on a Wednesday to one place in the town that I used to have my gym, and I do some
Right.
coaching there. But apart from that, I don't train at other gyms
Like you have your
because
own stuff.
I've got my own kit and I love training on my own. I'm in here. There's no one in the way. I haven't got to deal with anyone. I'm
Yeah.
very antisocial when I'm training.
It's not.
I don't think anyone's any different sometimes.
Well, the thing is, though, when you're serious about what you do, you just want to crack on, right? And like Dave just said, you go into the gym now, and it is a mobile phone culture. And I'm of an age, as is Dave. But when we
Hey, we're
started
still
training,
young. We're only 20.
but the gyms are now like everyone's on their phone. Like when I started
Yeah.
training, phones didn't even exist.
No. And
So it's like
you wouldn't
I
even
grew.
dare put your if it did, you wouldn't even dare pull your phone out in the gym. You maybe phone it maybe just a text on you and that's it. And then that's your mind's on your training, not sitting on a machine with your legs crossed on the phone and staring at everybody. Nah, I don't get that. So I don't.
I don't get it at all. I understand that if you've got your music on your phone, that's
Yeah.
fine. If I go to a gym and I've got my music on my phone is in a bag in a
Yep.
corner of the gym. I don't look at it. It's out of the way. Now you get people are texting in between sets. It's like, hang on, like what happened in that 30 seconds that you did that set that you needed to pick your phone back up and have another look?
Yeah. Plus, you're losing your mind, the connection, feel your muscle. You're distracting yourself. You're not putting the effort in. But I suppose it's like a YMA called the YMCA now. They're just all going there to meet up, and that's it.
Yeah, I understand that some people use the gym as a social outlet,
Yeah.
and that's fine. Like that's absolutely fine. It's not my social outlet. I don't go to socialize. I remember speaking. I remember speaking to a girlfriend of me and my mate were training, and his girlfriend was there, and we got in. We said hello. We had our pre-workouts. Put our headphones on, and I hadn't seen this guy for 6 months, and we've got our headphones on, and we're training together. And his girlfriend comes over and went, "You two are so rude. What's the matter with you?" We were like, "What? You haven't seen each other for 6 months, and you've got your headphones on." We're like, "We'll chat to her afterwards."
Aye.
It's like that's even to that level. Like I've still got my headphones on. I'm in my set. My headphones are on. If I'm training with you, I've still got my headphones on.
Yeah.
Because I can still talk to you in the short space that we need. I can still spot you. When you're doing your set, I haven't got my headphones on. When I'm doing mine, I have got my headphones on.
Yeah.
It's like
But
blinkers on.
you usually know if you have a good training partner. My friend Neil, he's just started back training again, and when the two of us get together, we're just like you so are training away. You know, we don't talk and all, but we sort of know what's coming up next and what we're going to do next and all. So, you know, and then maybe if we're waiting for between a set with chat or something, and then a minute later back in again, and afterwards, like you say, all the time of the day to chat.
Yeah. So training in gyms for me doesn't really work. I'm a little bit of a loner in that respect. I like to get in, get it done, and be in my own headspace. So
yeah.
I think that sort of discipline that you had from the karate back in the day and the headspace kind of like focus that you have in the gym has helped you with what you do now in the bodybuilding and focusing your clients.
yeah, very much so. Because I think that whenever you want to be any good at anything, and that's anything, you've got to have discipline. And that transfers across to every walk of life. You know, even in your job, in whatever you do, whether it's training, whether it's communicating with people on a daily basis. My biggest thing is you've got to be disciplined. If you've got discipline, you can succeed.
Yeah. But how did you find out when you started the gym? Did you say, okay, well, I want to do a show?
So a friend of mine, so as you probably know, me and Rob Waterhouse, we were training
The one
partners.
and
So Rob
only
worked,
King Natty.
yeah, so he worked for me. He was one of my gym instructors.
Was he?
Yeah, so he worked at my gym. So we became good friends and we were training partners.
Yeah.
And another good friend of ours, just what it was almost like a throwaway comment. Just one day said, well, "You boys should do a show. Like you'd be really good."
They just get in your head, don't they?
Well, do you know what? It hadn't crossed my mind. I'll be honest. Well, neither of us knew that the natty scene even existed, right?
I was the same
So
when I started, but like yourselves, hadn't a clue that there was natural shows.
no, so Rob was a big bodybuilding fan. I wasn't quite so much. I trained all the time. I always
Yeah.
trained. I wasn't really a bodybuilder. Like, if you'd have asked me if I was a bodybuilder, I'd say no. I
Yeah.
just train. Like, I want to be better. I want to improve my physique, but I'm not a bodybuilder. Rob had all the magazines, all the Flex magazines, all the old school magazines. He was a big fan of it all. He was a fan of the sport. So for me, bodybuilding was Dorian Yates, Ronnie Coleman, all these mass monsters. That was bodybuilding, not little old me. And my mate was like, no, you should. There were natural shows. And I was like, really? So anyway, straight to the point. They were actually the BMBF Southern was in Bognor Regis, and it was in like 3 weeks from this conversation. So we went along to watch, and Kerry Napier was guest posing, who was head judge at the British Finals just gone. And I was just blown away, absolutely blown away. I was like these guys look phenomenal. But
By
what
standards.
really got me, it wasn't really so much like looking back on it. And of course, as you know, standard gets better every year.
Yeah.
But what really got me involved was I felt like, first and foremost, I felt like I'd love to look like that. And secondly, the guy who won the overall was a guy called Sean Ferguson. And he looked phenomenal, but he looked massive on stage, right? Huge arms. He just looked incredible. The friend of mine who was there with us at the show was a friend of his. So at the interval, he came and spoke to us, and he was stood there. And like, this isn't a derogatory thing at all. Bearing in mind, he's shredded, and I'm certainly not. And I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking, he's not very big. And I'm looking at and of course, I'm thinking on stage, he looked massive. Yeah. I'm thinking, well, maybe I could do this because you don't have to be big. And I'm like, yeah, that was it. So we entered our first off season. That was in 2007.
Unreal.
And our first off season, basically off season meant we got fat. And then in 2008, we started our first competition diet. Didn't know what we were doing really, but we did it right.
Yeah, Bob's now FBB Pro. That's crazy.
We winged it to a degree. We had a little bit of help from a friend of mine, a little bit of guidance. But I quickly realized, like everything, like my personality, quickly realized that I can't half-ass this. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it properly. So I joined all the forums, because again, Instagram and Facebook didn't exist. Yeah. So I joined all the forums, getting all the information, and I quickly became a student. I had to educate myself as to how can I be the best that I could be at this. I'm only doing it once. Just want to go and see how I look. Just going to have a crack.
Yeah.
But I still do it well. And we did the BNBF Scottish because Rob had booked a holiday. So we did the earliest show of the year, BNBF Scottish, so he could go on holiday with the boys. And he won his class, won the junior class. I came third in the lightweight class. And I got a British invite. And I'm like, well, I'm going to do the British. Yeah. So I got home, said to the wife, qualified for the British. Her response was, well, what's the point? You only came third. You're not going to win it.
She's hard.
Yeah. She was right. I wasn't going to win it. But the reality of it was like, it was a British finals.
Yeah.
I've just qualified. I was only doing one. I'm like, oh, this might be the last time I ever do it. I might never do a British again.
Yeah.
So I did the British. I applied myself. I learned more about my body. I did lots more research. And I beat both of the guys that beat me in the qualifier at the finals and took 5th place.
Holy smokes.
Brilliant.
I'd love
and
that way.
Well, that was it. That was when I was hooked. That was when I was like, actually, I think I'm going to be all right at this. I think I could do this. So I went straight into an off season. Took a whole year off again.
How many shows have you done to date?
30.
From 1 to 13. Any more in you?
Yeah.
What was it? Last year you done the National Olympia?
Yeah, that was superb.
I'd say I'd love following it's funny to stick yourself and Bob and all that sort of got me inspired to do like the BNBF and all. Wake up in the morning time seeing your Instagram on when you're on your treadmill and stuff. I love that there. Yeah. Just sitting with a coffee, sitting listening. It just gets you going, so it does hit the gym. And then as you say yourself, it was the BNBF and I done it here was to get to the British finals to and then sure stage like yourself and all the other guys. It was just I was just blown away. It was standard stuff. And then the first time I ever seen you personal standing there, I was like, holy crap, this is mental.
Do you know what? It's really motivating to hear. Like I love motivating other people because I'm motivated by other people as well.
Yeah.
And I think it just goes around in circles. I think we all in this industry, it's too small to not give back to the sport and to give the bit of information, like the treadmill walks, like the amount of people that message me and say how much they get from it. And it's like, none of it's scripted. I don't do any takes. There's no take 1, take 4. I just get on the treadmill and have a chat. And it's like,
are you in too?
Absolutely.
There's class. Yeah. Have you seen it, Elaine? Have you on his Instagram?
Sorry,
I've seen a couple of things. So yeah, I think it's really cool. So I'm
class.
all about
The only difference is we have to do it on treadmills and cross trainers. Where Bob, he's all over the world walking around in the sun.
That's the thing. Like he can get out in the sun. I'm like, I'm not going out there today.
I've been texting back and forth trying to get him on the podcast, but he's flat out. So he is. It's hard to get him pinned down. But
yeah, we're off to. Yeah, well, I'm off to Germany with him on Friday.
Are you?
Yeah, so we're going over to the DFAC Europeans.
Maybe.
So we're going I'm meeting him tomorrow night. We're staying in a hotel tomorrow in Birmingham, going out
I'm
for
sure
dinner.
the two have some crack.
Yeah, we go back a long way, so we have some good stories.
Brilliant. That'd be a good podcast. Get Darren and Bob on. There's some good stories come out of the two of you together, I would say.
But I'll have a chat with him.
That'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we're here to talk about you today, Darren.
We got sidetracked again.
A little bit, just a little bit. And
Julian, you're not here to hit me over the head there or kick me in the shins.
No, I'm not. That's gonna be a kick under the face. So Darren, you said that earlier on you've done karate coaching and then you got into the gym. You had your own gym and you want to train clients, but as owning a gym and the business side of things that took over, then you closed that gym and opened up your own gym, and then you had to go at bodybuilding and have been having to go at bodybuilding ever since. So it's fair to say that you've flicked a few times between different fitness things. You were a personal trainer and you probably still are a personal trainer, but now you're also a bodybuilding coach. What's the difference between those two? Because Davey and I, well, Davey's obviously got the bodybuilding experience. I don't, but I'm a personal trainer. I just want to know, and I'm sure our viewers do, what the difference between being a personal trainer and a bodybuilder. Like, what do you think the differences are?
Goals, simple as that. Just people have different goals. I
Okay.
still train people who have no aspiration to stand on stage. So I like to have a good mixture. So I specialize in bodybuilding coaching, but I still have some of what I consider my normal people, because I like to work, because bodybuilders are not normal. They are very unique. Everyone has different traits, but I would say the biggest difference between being a personal trainer with people who are not bodybuilders is just their level that they want to push themselves to. We all have people that have different thresholds. You see people in the gym that go to 10 reps and stop because they think that's hard, and it is hard for them and they find it hard. And then you got the guy who's literally got nothing left and he calls one more. It's
that was guy Dave does my camera work now in the gym stuff. I says, right, we're doing chest, and he says, you're training women, and he'd be just the 10 or 8 reps, that's it, finished. And I was like, nah, you're not finished yet. I says, when the pain kicks in, this way you squeeze 3 or 4 more out. And he turned around and says, you're a bloody different level of training. You are. You're sore for 4 days.
and I think that's also the biggest difference is your perceived level of failure. What is failure? Failure for everyone is slightly different. Failure for some people is actually true mechanical failure, but for a lot of people, it's a mental failure. And I think a lot of normal PT clients have a very lower threshold of pain, so their mental failure kicks in first. And my bodybuilding clients, it's a physical failure, mechanical failure over mental failure. And that's the biggest difference.
That is a big shift. Because it's pushing your body beyond and trying to make yourself believe that you can do it, even when you physically in your head. Well, that's what your head's telling your body. For people who don't understand the difference between the two, it's a hard one. Like, because your body can do it. It's just done some before. So,
but also, I think what people forget is some people just don't want to go there, and that's okay. I remember speaking to someone a long, long time ago that was getting into personal training. And I said to him, your biggest challenge is going to be, you have to accept that most of your PT clients do not want to train at the level that you want to train at. They are not you. They cannot do what you do. You're a bodybuilder and you're a very, very good bodybuilder. Most of your clients are not going to be there. They don't want to go to that level.
No,
they have no desire to put themselves in the hurt locker. They're here to exercise. And if they're doing 10% more than what they were doing yesterday when they were doing nothing, they're exercising. If you can get another 10% out of them, great. If you can gradually get them up to a level of training as opposed to exercise, even better. But most personal trainers find it hard. I know loads of people that fail at personal training because they cannot understand why Bob doesn't want to do, squats until he's half dead. It's like, I don't want to do it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Exercise is good for everyone. And if they're exercising and they're moving, for most people, that's enough.
It has to be fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
In terms of prep for the show, now we mentioned that briefly earlier on before, and Davey's talked about it quite a lot, and so some of our previous guests. It's fair to say that it is brutal. Have you any tips or tricks or anything that you can give our viewers, or things that you've worked with in your previous guests, clients, or even yourself, to help get through that struggle?
Well, the brutality of contest prep is just the reality. So I think, first and foremost, whenever I take upon a client or I'm talking to someone about a potential contest prep, I outline the journey of what's expected. So their expectation is already there for what's about to happen. There's no, this is going to be a piece of cake. This is easy. It's like, no, this is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to be. Now, of course, it's different for everyone because the same scenario as training. How hard I find something might be different to how hard this person finds something. I might be able to deal with it slightly better. So there's always caveats to that. But I think the basis of it is just understanding the process and understanding what you're going to need to go through, but then finding mechanisms to help them at that point. But if you know it's coming, for an experienced bodybuilder who's done 30 shows, I know the pitfalls. I know at what point I'm going to get to certain levels. I know where I need to be. I know that when this happens, I'm here. But I know it's coming. For a newbie, it's really just about educating them and helping them to understand the process. I'm very, very an advocate of making sure people understand the process. I want you to ask questions. I want you to understand why. Because I believe that if you understand, you're going to adhere better.
Yeah.
As a coach, I want to make that journey from the start of prep to the end of prep and beyond as stress-free as possible. So that's my main job. My main job is to keep things stress-free, to enable you to do the work, because I'm not doing the work for you, but I need you to understand the process all the way through, and I can help you manage that stress-wise, practicalities of things, little things that come up. We all know that there are hiccups that come up in prep, managing that. But it's about managing it, right? It's about communication. My communication with my clients is the most important part, because I need to know you. I need to know what's going on in your life. I remember speaking to a coach before, and they were telling me, this person's moaning about this, moaning about that, moaning about their cat. And I'm like, you need to know everything about that person. You need to know what that cat's name is. You need to know who their children are. You need to know their wife, their husband, their partner, because you need to understand this person. You're asking them to do something that's not normal.
Yeah.
It is hard and it can be brutal. So if you can be at one with them and actually understand them and be someone that they trust, process is easier. So that's what I really try and instill, that trust process, so people can talk to me and tell me everything.
Yeah, it's a good way to go. That's what it is. It means you, like you say, it's taking less stress off them, and it's somebody to comfort them, talk to them, and keep them calm and relaxed, and say, okay, well, this is going to happen. It doesn't matter about it. Take a step back, we'll evaluate it, and so on. It's not all just if it was so easy, everybody would do it.
And the thing is, as well, is like I want it to be hard because I want it to be a challenge. Like, if it was easy, where would the challenge be?
That's true.
The reality of it is like this is a very small percentage of people that can do it. People don't see the people that try and fail, right? People don't see the people that don't make it to stage because it was too hard for them. But there's a lot of those. There are a lot of people that don't make it. And you don't know that because you don't see it, because they don't make it. So But that's the reality of it. It isn't easy. You know,
No,
being
it's
in,
not.
being in a calorie deficit, managing your life, managing your family, while still trying to train, do everything you need to do to be the best you can be. It's a challenge. If you accept the challenge and you embrace the challenge, you're way more likely to succeed.
Yeah,
What do you
I
think
sort
about
of
people
learned.
that?
Sorry, Liam, what?
No. Go ahead.
That last prep, I sort of learned my lesson that way. As you say, I suppose it's all learning stuff now, so it's not easy.
No, it's not. But that's the joy of it.
How many people have you trained in the past, Darren, that have maybe just not got the stage like you mentioned there now, but have then later went on to it, or it's completely blown their confidence out the door and they just don't have it in them to go forward now? And that's too
Quite a lot.
question.
There's a couple of different scenarios there. So some people just quickly realize that dieting's not for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of
You
them.
can, yeah, and that's okay. I've got some really, really good clients who won't ever do a show because they can diet for a short period. They can diet if they've got a good amount of flexibility, but they can't go extreme. They can't be all in just because their lives don't dictate,
Yeah.
their jobs. So they can't do it. They've tried and they've cut. I've got some clients that have. I don't think I've got. Let me think if I've got any clients that have got to the stage and never done. I don't think I've ever had a client that's made it to the stage and never done it again.
That's what I was going to
Wow.
ask. Have you ever had any clients who didn't make it to the stage, but he just answered that there?
I think some people don't. I think they realize that once that. Yeah, I think if you're committed and you're really all in and you make it to the stage, I think you realize that what the challenge that you've accepted is worth doing it. There are lots of people that there are lots of people that scenarios throw up, right? So they start prep and they stop prep for certain reasons. I've stopped people on prep. I've actually had clients where I've sat them down and I've gone, this isn't for you.
Wow.
I believe, right, that like I'm one of those people that if I'm having a bad day, you don't know about it, right? Because you don't need to know about my bad day. I'm going to deal with it. I'm all right. And I don't mean, like, I'm just having a tough day. If you're moaning constantly about your day, if you're moaning all the time about being hungry, being tired, having to go and do a workout and you don't want it, if you're moaning about those things, maybe you should think about whether you should be doing this because I don't think you should. I've had clients that I've said to them, you need to stop because it shouldn't be this bad. Like, if you are that miserable, you are that unhappy about the fact that you can't go and have a beer or a Nando's, that makes you that miserable. This isn't for you. And the one client that I had that exact conversation with has never stepped back on stage again.
Yeah, I do a lot of moaning and bitching and getting all sort of, but I just that's just me. I love it sort of, That to me, I find that's the challenge. That's the hard part. So of course you have to have a wee bit of a moan to get on, but deep down, I love it. If you don't have a
Do you know
passion
what?
for it, don't do it.
I'm very much on the mindset. Like, I've got 2 children and obviously my wife.
Yeah.
I will never say I'm hungry in front of them.
Oh no, I wouldn't do that in front of the kids or nothing. So I don't know. If you say
But
with a partner or something.
I just get on with it. I feel like I don't want what I'm doing to impact them in the slightest. I don't look. I've been doing this for over 15 years now, competing, and I feel like I've managed to do it for that long because I try and make sure that this and that is separate. I try and make sure that my family don't get impacted by what I do, and I make a real big effort. In my early days, not so much. In my early days, I was probably an absolute arse. No, not probably. I was an absolute arse because the world revolved around me and prep. I quickly realized this isn't going to work. If I do not have that consideration for them, then I can't ask them to have consideration for me when I'm in that deep prep. I need to earn some points here. So when I'm dieting and when I'm not dieting, I go out my way to be conscientious to their needs. Like we do everything on prep. We go on holiday.
Yeah.
We go out for meals. I don't eat, but we go out because I don't want to impact. I don't want them to not be able to do it just because I'm doing it. I cook most of the food in our house. So I'll cook their meals. I'll do their breakfast. I'll do their dinners.
Brilliant.
I'm not eating it, but I do it all for them.